From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Daryl Clark. Stephanie Woodard is on assignment this evening. Our top story, another community meeting has been set for people living along Chena Hot Springs Road in the area of the Stewart Creek 2 fire. Officials at the Fire Information Center say the meeting will start at 6 p.m. at the Pleasant Valley Community Center, so it just started. Fire officials will report on the status of the blaze and answer questions. Currently, about 800 firefighters have the fire 25% contained and are working to get as much done as possible before an expected increase in temperatures. Should Fairbanks North Star Borough employees be allowed to carry guns at work? That is one of the questions the Borough Assembly is addressing right now. The meeting started at 6 this evening at the Borough Building on Pioneer Road. The ordinance was introduced by Assemblyman Lance Roberts, who believes allowing employees to carry firearms would make for a safer workplace. The deadly explosion of a runaway oil train in Canada earlier this week highlights the risks that come from transporting oil no matter the method. The Quebec disaster, blamed for more than a dozen deaths, underscores a trend in which North America's oil is increasingly transported by train as plans for new pipelines stall and existing lines struggle to keep up with demand. Since 2009, the number of train cars carrying a crude oil hauled by major railroads has jumped nearly 20-fold to an estimated 200,000 last year. In Alaska, trains carrying oil is a common occurrence, and Alaska railroad officials say everything possible is done to make sure it is done safely.
Well, we follow numerous rules, regulations, and procedures throughout the year to make sure that we are as safe as we can possibly be on all aspects of the railroad. Our employees are trained, tested, and monitored on a monthly basis to ensure that those rules and regulations are constantly being followed.
Opponents of House Bill 21, which passed the last session of the legislature, continue efforts to get the measure killed. The measure offers incentives to oil companies to explore by reducing taxes. Those seeking petition signatures to get the measure repealed in a special election says it's a giveaway to the oil companies who already make plenty of profit here in Alaska.
Many of the oil producers up here have already made a greater net profit per barrel last year than they make almost anywhere else they operate. And we figure before they give away our resources at substantially below world market rate, when in fact they were already getting our oil cheap, we should have a say of it.
All right, well, it was a rather pleasant day out there, and joining us now is Mike Schultz to have a pleasant conversation about weather.
Hey, you're right, Daryl. Boy, it was really nice out there. In fact, the clouds are clearing out. We're looking at more sunshine tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the low 80s this weekend, but also drier humidities, which means the fire danger picking back up again. Hopefully the folks out there in the fire service can get their hands in that fire and get it to contain. What's going on across the interior right now? Well, temperatures are pretty consistent. You see 67 degrees at Allison Air Force Base, 65 North Pole, 66 at Fairbanks and Fort Wainwright. A little bit cooler around Delta Junction, 64. Out to the west, pretty consistent once again, 64 for both Denali Park and Nenana. In the lower 48, it is hot, very hot temperatures. We'll tell you all about that and talk about more storms hitting the lower 48. All that with all the weather later on. Daryl?
All right, thank you very much, Mike. When we come back, the rural Alaska and Alaska Native High School students graduate. Also, we take a look at Fairbanks Shakespeare Theater's production of Romeo and Juliet. Stay with us. And welcome back. The 2013 class that comprised the University of Alaska Fairbanks Rural Alaska Honors Institute, or RAHI, took important steps into the future during ceremonies held on campus earlier today. Close to 30 rural Alaska and Alaska Native High School students have officially completed 6 weeks of intense instruction and training aimed at preparing them for college life and being away from home. High school junior and senior students live in the dorms and take college-level courses. Now, they earn 8 to 10 credits and learn firsthand what it takes to succeed in college. In addition to the rigorous academic program, students learn study skills and time management. David Clark, a 2013 graduate from Anchorage who will be attending UAA, described the difficulty behind the last 6 weeks.
I'm graduated. This has been one of the most difficult summers of my life, and I've been staying up late, almost every night, doing papers, doing math homework, thinking, and I'm finally over and I'm a new person, and it's crazy.
It's really good to get that experience of being away and getting used to it before you go, so you know what to expect. And being away from home isn't too bad for me, but it was really fun to have that dorm life beforehand, so I know what to expect.
Last year, the Downtown Association, as part of their multi-year initiative, had a project of painting the pipes downtown, which was a massive success. This year, the Downtown Association will focus downtown by sprucing up the windows with creative artwork. The window project will solicit local artists to find a way to enhance the windows of vacant properties, incorporating the theme of the word edge. The artwork will be printed on vinyl wraps and adhered to the exterior of ground floor windows of featured spaces. The project will be completed by September, with a public viewing also scheduled for sometime in that month.
We decided to apply public art to those properties, dress them up a little bit, reactivate them, and try to prompt some thought about the potential that those spaces hold for our downtown and for our community. So this summer we're actually going to be doing that by plastering the fronts of these windows with digital artwork submitted by local artists on the theme of edge. And our public art committee chose that theme, thinking it was kind of an interesting word with a lot of dynamism to it that could be both abstract and literal, and hoping that artists bring their illustrations to the project in that way.
If you are an artiste that is interested in this project, apply online at downtownfairbanks.com. Well, the annual Intertribal Powwow for the Interior starts Friday in Fairbanks. News Center 11's Monty Bowen has the story.
Volunteers started setting up for the Midnight Sun Powwow at midday today. The event brings people representing Alaska Native and American Indian culture together each year in Fairbanks. It starts Friday behind the Carlson Center.
We come together as a community, as a people, and we celebrate life for 3 days together, and we give thanks back to our Creator through song, dance, and drum. And of course then we interact and enjoy life the way people are supposed to enjoy life, having fun and visiting with one another.
Most of those helping are volunteers.
And like you were saying, that we do, as soon as the powwow is done, we start planning on the next one.
A highlight of the event, the release of an injured eagle that has been healed.
Got a phone call from Dave down in the Bird Learning Treatment Center in Anchorage, and they've been very instrumental in allowing us and helping us release eagles at the powwow, and he's got another one ready for us this year.
Alaska Natives, American Indians, and First Nations people of Canada will be attending. Monty Bowen, News Center 11.
Early tomorrow morning in Seward, federal, state, and local criminal justice and public safety officials will start a 575-mile journey across Alaska to benefit children fighting life-threatening illnesses. After approximately 35 legs of hiking, biking, running, kayaking, swimming, and boating, the 4th annual Alaska State Troopers Adventure Relay will end with an event to be held Monday at the Fairbanks Police Department. The venture is meant to raise money for the Wish Upon the North Star. That's a nonprofit organized by Alaskans in 1983 to fulfill the wishes of Alaskan children dealing with the life of medication and hospital visits by submitting pledges on their website. Well, the Fairbanks Shakespeare Theater has been hard at work perfecting a Shakespearean classic, Romeo and Juliet. Tonight, the show opens to the public at the Outdoor Shakespeare Theater on the University of Alaska Fairbanks campus. Some of the actors came to the interior from out of state just to stay at the acting camp and perfect their skills. All in all, the show is one where the people involved say you haven't seen before.
I will say that you may think you know Romeo and Juliet. If you've read Romeo and Juliet, seen a movie of Romeo and Juliet, you really don't know the play Romeo and Juliet until you come and see it performed. And I would encourage all of the people watching to come and see it, not just because I'm in the play and want to get people to come to see it, but because I love Shakespeare and I love theater. And I want people to experience what it's like to see this play, that you already know the story, you already know what's going on, you don't have to worry about that. What is Shakespeare saying? Just go along for the ride and learn something new about the feelings that this play brings out in people.
We will have more on Romeo and Juliet in News Center Final in our weekly segment, That's Interiortainment. Well, a rose by any other name would smell just as sweet, and Joe Cook is here now talking about the sweet of sports.
Was that from Romeo and Juliet?
It was.
Oh,
it is.
Well, it was a night that the Gold Panthers just strike at their enemies as they continue a string of solid play last night. That was my best Romeo and Juliet Shakespearean tease there. We have games from highlights from last night's game. It was a good turnout. Could be a good turnout again Friday night at Groudon Park. Free tickets could be on the way. Stay tuned for that. And plus, Alaska adds a key addition, a local product, to their skiing team, their coaching staff. All that and more coming up in sports. Hello, Interior sports fans. Joe Cook here in the sports seat for you this evening. Hope you're having a good one. And now let's get into some Thursday sports action. Yesterday, the Alaska Naniks cross country ski team announced the hiring of a new assistant coach to their staff, and she's a sourdough. Christina Turman, a Fairbanks native, is the newest addition to the staff. Turman was recently the head coach of West Valley's boys skiing team, who won their first state title in 20 years this past season. She also coached Team Alaska on their way to the 2013 junior national title this year in Fairbanks. Turman used to be a Naniks rival, skiing for Northern Michigan in the CCSA. For the Wildcats, Turman was a two-time NCAA qualifier and CCSA region champion. Coach Jerome emphasized adding her for this co-ed team is a boost, but she was the best fit because of her credentials, not just because she is a woman. I caught up with both of them today and asked what's their coaching approach going to be, mom and dad or good cop, bad cop?
Oh, it would be bad cop all the time. When you have someone like Christina who has been a D2 athlete, who's gone through the ringer, she's been a top student athlete at a very good school. She can speak to them intelligently about what it takes, and that'll be a great motivation for them.
I remember talking to someone like midway through the winter and saying, "Oh man, I'd love to just continue with this and get into college coaching someday." And then this position opened up and it worked out. I'm really excited.
Last night, your Alaska Gold Panthers took a 2-1 series lead with their 4-gamer with the Chugiak Chinooks. It was another hot start for the home team in Groudon Memorial. Here, Alaska leading 6-1 as Alex Rubinowitz brings in center fielder Nick Catalano on the RBI single, his 9th of the year. Those two spearheaded the offense with 2 hits apiece. Catalano had 2 RBIs and 2 runs. From then on, it was all about defense. The Panthers got their runs early, and their pitchers and outfielders, man, they did the rest. A Chinooks base coach was ejected from the dugout protesting a strikeout later in the game. Chugiak was frustrated all night. A lot of early runs for Alaska were from Chugiak errors. Michael Dengillian got the win for his 6 innings of work. Matt Milkey relieved him with 4 Ks in 2 innings. Andrew Bueller closed it out for the 7-1 victory. Alaska is now 12-6 and number 1 in the ABL, 1 game ahead of the Bucks. The pitching staff allowed just 3 hits in Game 3's win. The series concludes tonight. Head coach David Harris recognizes that his pitching staff and his team is buying in.
I think they all understand that they really, anybody can pitch anytime. I'm not going to live and die with one pitcher on the rubber. I think guys are starting to fall into roles now, which is really important within a ball club. And these guys keep stepping up to whatever situation I put them in. They're ready and they're competitive and great mentality out there. I usually just try to get them to play pitch by pitch, inning by inning, game by game, and usually good things happen when you play like that.
Now, if you want to see the Gold Panthers in action, Friday is your best bet. It could be for free. The NRA is giving away 1,000 free tickets to Friday night's game. That's right, free 99. Here's where you can get these free tickets. You can pick some up at Century Hardware in North Pole, the Badger Den also in North Pole, or the Sportsman's Warehouse right here in Fairbanks. Josh Tennyson, the Northern Alaska field rep for the NRA, told me there's no strings attached. The tickets are available until they're all gone. This is the first time the NRA has done something like this with the Panthers. Friday's game at Groudon Memorial Park will be Friends of NRA night as the Panthers take on the Anchorage Glacier Pilots in Game 1 of their 4-game series. There will also be a special NRA raffle during the game. For more information on this ticket giveaway and the locations, just go to webcenter11.com sports page. And an easy transition from the baseball diamond to the softball circle. This weekend is a biggie for not just the local softball players, but players from across the state. The Hesray and South Davis softball fields will be the location of the Coca-Cola Golden Days softball tournament hosted by the Golden Heart Softball Association. There are 33 teams this year competing for tournament titles in 2 co-ed divisions and 2 men's divisions. There are also 2 all-women's teams who will be competing against the men this year as well. There are local teams and teams from Anchorage and Valdez. The tournament is pretty much all day, Saturday and Sunday. Game start as early as 7 a.m. And that does it for sports. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Stay cool, Alaska. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again for a look at weather. And like I said, it's going to be nice this weekend. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures warming up to the low 80s. How about that? Here's our photograph for tonight. This one's sent in by Wayne Checks. It's a great sunset. You can see the trees in the foreground there, and then the background, the beautiful orange and golds. If you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to me here at Mike Schultz at KTVF11.com. We'll share it with the rest of the audience. Our temperature right now is 66 after a high of 70. Tomorrow could be near 80. The low last night, 50 degrees. Record high, 94 in 1975. Record low, 30 in 1905. Our daylight working out to about 20 hours and 32 minutes, a loss of 6 minutes from yesterday. What's going on across the rest of the state? Cloudy skies once again over the southeastern sections. Lots of sunshine around the south central areas, and over the northern sections, lots of sunshine. A few clouds around the Seward Peninsula. And our satellite picture kind of shows why the clouds are over the Seward Peninsula. You can see that little frontal band moving across while all of our energy is moving way down to the south. High pressure building in, giving us some good weather. Speaking of good weather, lower 48 weather, lots of hot temperatures once again to talk about. Not quite 100 this time at Salt Lake City, but it was 100 degrees in Denver. Cooled off a little bit in Las Vegas and Phoenix because of showers and thunderstorms there. And a lot of activity over the eastern half of the country on the satellite and radar. You can see a lot of energy up and down the eastern seaboard once again. And there's all the showers and thunderstorms. This is called the southwest monsoon. It happens this time of year, brings in lots of moisture, but unfortunately it also brings in thunderstorms and floods. So that's not good for those folks. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow in the northern sections. Here's what it looks like. Decreasing clouds for Barrow, partly cloudy for Nome, and sun and smoke in the Fort Yukon area. While we're looking at the interior, again, nice weather, decreasing clouds. There is a smoke for Fairbanks, just an isolated shower possible in the Healy area. Over the southeast, again, the rain returns for Juneau and Ketchikan with scattered showers. Over the southwest part of the state, looking at rain in Cold Bay, mostly sunny skies for Kodiak, and partly cloudy skies in Bethel. And over the south central regions, if you're heading on down the Anchorage area, nice weather expected, maybe some showers around the Valdez area, otherwise mostly sunny for Anchorage and Homer. And here's our forecast for tonight. We're going to talk first about our fishing report, though that's important to get in, because the Valdez area is reporting sockeye and pinks in the Sound area now. However, on the Kenai River, 6 sockeye now allowed only at the Russian River area only, because the rest of the Kenai River is just not looking good at all. And the same for the Matanuska Valley. The park's highways, streams are closed to king salmon on July 12th. Let's keep that in mind. And as far as our rivers and lakes, the lakes are best in the early morning and late evening hours for catching those fish, while the grayling are great on the Chena River and the Delta Clearwater area. And as always, thanks to Jeans and the Boat Shop for sponsoring our fishing report each Thursday night. All right, here's your forecast for tonight. A nice evening, a few clouds and smoke, just maybe east of the Fairbanks area, 50 degrees the overnight low. Tomorrow's forecast up close to 80 degrees. Lots of sunshine in the forecast, and that continues through the 5-day period. As you see here, 82, 85 on Sunday. How about that? And then a little bit cooler as some cooler air moves in. And the next chance for showers not till about maybe Monday night or Tuesday. Overnight lows also, once again, very mild in the low 50s. And this weekend, what a great time for barbecuing. And speaking of barbecuing...
That is right. It is time now for our backyard barbecue segment. This time, a pie. Wait a minute. A pie?
Yeah.
On the grill. Enjoy.
I'll eat it anyway. Good afternoon. I'm Dan Gilson, the owner of the Charcoal Supply Company and the pit master of the Three Dogs Barbecue Competition barbecue cooking team. We had a lot of good reviews after our cobbler recipe a few weeks ago, so we're going to do another dessert on the grill. We've got a very simple pecan pie recipe here. Basically, I took this one off the back of a bottle of light corn syrup, mixed it all together, and then we're going to pour it into our pie shell. Okay, so we poured our mixture into our pie shell, and I'm just going to put a few little semi-sweet chocolate morsels here on top. And then it's pretty simple. Again, the grill is set up for that indirect cooking. We've got the pan in the middle and the charcoal on either side. So take your pie, set it right in the center. Once again, about 375 degrees. You're going to cook it for about an hour, maybe 45 minutes, depending on how hot your grill gets. And then we have one that's done. And there you have pecan pie on the grill. This has been the Backyard Barbecue Series, and I'm Dan Gilson.
and we'll laugh and be happy at the backyard barbecue.
Brought to you by the Charcoal Supply Company.
And thank you to this Charcoal Supply Company for offering us a pie to end our newscast. This is fantastic.
I never thought a pie would be so good on a grill.
Oh, I know it.
Wow.
You need some milk. And
exactly, that's all we need. All right, that'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. Excuse me. We're glad you could join us.
Yeah, and NBC Night News with Brian Williams is coming up next.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
Carmen starts tonight. I was at Rotary today. They were singing there. We got some of that for you to show you what you're in for if you go to the Carmen show tonight and Saturday.